Hello everyone. So this is part 3 of chapter 9, which is Kings and Chronicles. So the topic which we'll be starting with is capitals and courts. So the heart of the Mughal Empire was its capital city, और किसी भी empire का जो heart होगा वो obviously इसकी capital city ही होगी, because that is where the court assembles, that is where the king resides. So the Mughals, they frequently changed their capitals during the 16th and the 17th centuries. तो मुगल एम्पायर से पहले द लोधी डायनेस्टी वाज रूलिंग एंड उनकी जो कैपिटल थी दैट वाज आगरा. सो व्हेन बाबर टुक ओवर हिज कैपिटल वाज आल्सो आगरा, बट उसके बाद से द कैपिटल्स वर फ्रीक्वेंटली चेंजिंग. देन इन 1570s अकबर डिसाइडेड टू मेक फतेहपुर सिकरी एज द न्यू कैपिटल. सो फतेहपुर सिकरी इज़ अ प्लेस इन उत्तर प्रदेश. And one of the reasons why Fatehpur Sikri was made as the capital was that it was located on the direct road to Ajmer, and Ajmer mein hai the Dargah of Sheikh Moinuddin Chishti. So in the chapter of Bhakti Sufi traditions हमने discuss किया था that how the Mughal emperors, particularly Akbar, entered into close relationship with the Sufis of the Chishti silsila. देन मुगल्स के केस में जितना ज़्यादा पैशनेट थे वो टूवर्ड्स आर्ट्स पेंटिंग्स, उतना ही ज़्यादा पैशनेट थे वो टूवर्ड्स बिल्डिंग एक्टिविटीज़. सो एम्परर अकबर ऑल्सो गॉट अ लॉट ऑफ बिल्डिंग्स कंस्ट्रक्टेड. फॉर एग्जाम्पल द फोर्ट ऑफ आगरा, देन द मॉस्क एट सिकरी. One of the important monument is बुलंद दरवाज़ा, which means house of victory. तो बुलंद दरवाज़ा बनाया गया था इन 1602 AD so as to celebrate the victory over the Gujarat in 1573. So बुलंद दरवाज़ा is the main entrance or is a gateway to the Jama Masjid located at Fatehpur Sikri. So Buland Darwaza was not something which was a part of the original design of Jama Masjid. However, it was erected only to celebrate the victory or the conquest of Gujarat by the Mughals. Then in 1585, Akbar shifted his capital to Lahore, which is in Pakistan. And then Shah Jahan also shifted his capital to Shah Jahanabad, which is a name for Old Delhi. तो इस तरह we see that there were frequent shifting of capitals during the 16th and the 17th centuries. Now let's come on to a very important topic, which is the Mughal court. Okay, so the physical arrangement of the court focused on the sovereign, which is the emperor. So some examples which reinforce the idea that emperor was the center of the empire were that first, that the central piece of the courtroom was the throne, that is the takht. The function of the king was that of axis mundi. So axis mundi is a Latin term for the axis of the earth, that is the center imaginary line of the earth around which the earth rotates. The term axis mundi also has a symbolic meaning, which is the perceived center of the world, that is where the heaven and the earth are connected. So the first thing which gave physical form to this particular idea was the throne. The second thing was the canopy. तो canopy को आप शामियाना भी कह सकते हो. It is basically an ornamental cloth which is hung over or which is held over something, for example a throne. तो usually it is in the form of an umbrella, right? So this is the throne and ऊपर एक shed लगा होता है. However, it may also vary. So it was basically used as a means of separating the radiance of the sun from that of the sovereign. Then the status of a person in the court was determined by the spatial proximity to the king. तो इसका मतलब है कि उस पर्टिकुलर मेंबर को कोर्ट में क्या पोजीशन दी गई थी, वो पोजीशन थ्रोन के कितना नज़दीक थी, उससे डिपेंड करता था कि उस इंसान का स्टेटस क्या है कोर्ट में. सो द नियरर टू द थ्रोन ऑफ द किंग, द हायर वुड बी द स्टेटस ऑफ द पर्सन. Then the chronicles, they strictly laid down the norms of behavior or the rules which were to be followed by the people of the court. And through these rules, social control was exercised by the emperor on these people. तो chronicles में mention किया गया है कि what kind of salutations were prescribed. For example, when the person will address the king, तो वो उसको किस तरह से greet करेगा and so on. So there were different forms of salutation. For example, the highest form of submission or the highest form of salutation was sajda or complete prostration. तो इसे हम हिंदी में साष्टांग प्रणाम भी कहते हैं, wherein you completely lie on the ground. Then there were other rituals as well. For example, char taslim and zameen bos. Now next, coming on to the routine which was followed by the emperor. तो सबसे पहले in the morning at sunrise he used to perform his personal religious devotions. Then after offering his prayers he used to appear on a small balcony which was known as झरोखा. तो झरोखा दर्शन की एक प्रैक्टिस थी जिसमें द एम्परर यूज टू गो टू द झरोखा एंड द पीपल और हिज सब्जेक्ट्स यूज टू वेट फॉर हिम फॉर हिज दर्शन. So this particular practice was one which was introduced by Emperor Akbar. After spending about an hour at the Jharokha, the emperor used to proceed to the Diwan-e-Aam, wherein the primary business of the government used to be conducted. Then officials के साथ meetings and discussions करने के बाद, reports देखने के बाद, the emperor used to proceed to Diwan-e-Khas. So as the name suggests, this is where only some confidential matters were discussed, where the king used to discuss matters with only the high ministers of the state. So this is all about the things which the emperor used to do on daily basis. Then celebrations used to take place on special occasions like the birthdays of the monarch. Now this include both the solar as well as the lunar birthday, and festivals like Nowruz, which is the Iranian New Year. Let's move on to the topic of titles and gifts. So the kings used to adopt grand or high sounding titles. The Mughal coins, they carried the full title of the reigning emperor. But सिर्फ king ही नहीं थे who had such titles. Titles were even granted to men of merit. So granting of titles was one important aspect of the Mughal polity. So some examples of this include the title of Asif Khan. तो असफ़ खान का टाइटल दिया गया था अबुल हसन को, हु वॉज द ग्रैंड विजियर ऑफ शाहजहाँ एंड ऑल्सो द फादर ऑफ मुमताज़ महल हु वॉज द वाइफ ऑफ शाहजहाँ. तो विजियर का मतलब होता है वज़ीर. देन अनदर एग्जाम्पल इज़ दैट ऑफ मिर्ज़ा राजा. तो ये टाइटल दिया गया था टू जय सिंह एंड जसवंत सिंह बाय औरंगज़ेब. अब वन इंटरेस्टिंग एस्पेक्ट इज़ दैट यू कुड अर्न द टाइटल्स बिकॉज ऑफ योर मेरिट or you can pay for the titles. So one example of this is that Mir Khan paid 1 lakh to Aurangzeb to add an A to his name. So एक additional letter A के लिए he had to pay 1 lakh to Aurangzeb. तो इससे उसका नाम बन गया अमीर खान. So this is about titles. Now with respect to gifts, the courtier, they was never supposed to approach the emperor empty handed. तो जब भी उनको emperor को approach करना होता था, they used to take gifts. And इसके कुछ examples हैं नज़र, which is a small amount of money, और पेशकश, which is hefty amount of money. Even the diplomats were supposed to give gifts to the emperor. Gifts were seen as a sign of honor and respect. Now let's move on to the next topic, which is an imperial household. So the term harem means a sacred place. So the harem used to consist of emperor's wives, his concubines, and his near and distant relatives. So concubines are basically mistresses, that is women who live with the man but are not legally wedded to him. And the near and distant relatives में आते थे mother, the step and the foster mothers. Foster mothers are usually women who raise a child, for example dai or aya, right? Then it also used to include sisters, daughters, daughter-in-laws, etc. Also polygamy was present at that time. तो poly का मतलब होता है many and gamy means marriage. So इस केस में हम particularly बात कर रहे हैं polygyny की, which is having multiple wives. The polygyny is a form of polygamy. So the emperor used to have many wives. So having a lot of wives was also a way of forging alliances, and it was a means of enlarging the kingdom. So usually the emperor used to marry the princesses of other kingdoms, and as a form of gift, territory was also given from the girl's side. Up there was distinction between the begums, that is women who were legally wedded to the emperor, and these women, they came from royal or aristocratic families, right? Then there were other wives who were lower in status as compared to begums, and then at the lowest pedestal was concubines. एंड इनका स्टेटस डिटरमाइन करता था कि इनको कितनी मंथली अलाउंसेस मिलेंगी फ्रॉम द किंग एंड क्या गिफ्ट्स मिलेंगे. अब ये जो डिस्टिंक्शन थी, दिस वॉज नॉट समथिंग विच वॉज स्टैटिक. यूजुअली जो कॉन्क्यूबाइंस या अदर वाइफ्स थी, दे कुड ऑल्सो एलिवेट टू द स्टेटस ऑफ बेगम्स, एंड ऑल ऑफ दिस यूज टू डिपेंड ऑन द विल ऑफ द किंग. Then the harem also had numerous slaves. These included male as well as female slaves. Then a special category of slaves was the eunuch. जिन्हें ख्वाजा सरा कहा जाता था. So these were basically males who were castrated and were employed to guard the women's living area. So in some cases it is also seen that the women, they had considerable control over financial resources, particularly in the case of Noor Jahan, who is the wife of Jahangir. So Meherunissa, that is the real name of Noor Jahan, she was seen as the driving force behind the throne. So she had considerable political influence and was considered as the most powerful and influential woman at the court during a period when the Mughal Empire was at its peak. Right, so she had certain privileges which no other Mughal empress had before or even after. Then apart from her, Jahanara and Roshanara, who were the daughters of Shah Jahan, they also had considerable financial resources at their disposal. तो ऐसा कहा गया है that उनकी income was equal to that of the mansabdars, that is the high imperial officials of the empire. Then these women also undertook architectural pursuits. For example, Chandni Chowk in Shah Jahanabad was designed by Jahanara. Then these women also contributed to chronicles. For example, Gulbadan Begum, who is the daughter of Babur and sister of Humayun, she is the one who wrote Humayunama. Also, Gulbadan mentions that the women, especially the elderly women, they used to play an important role in mediating conflicts among the kings and the princes. So familial tensions को resolve करने में भी the women used to play an important role. So this is all about the topic imperial household, and this is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching.